Alright, so today I kind of want to discuss or yap about where I think the ending of Resident Evil 9 Requiem might go in, not just story-wise, but also tonally, just in gameplay, based off like the foundation of Requiem, um, as well as what the next expansion might look like. Um, Again, so I feel like I don't even have to say it, you know what I'm saying, hence the title and shit, but like, just for the sake of purpose of like some people are just dumb or just want to bitch and complain. This is fucking spoiler heavy as shit. So if you haven't beat the game, get the fuck out of here. Come back, you know what I'm saying, or not. Um, when you beat the game, you know what I'm saying, you can put your input or you know what I'm saying, or not. You know what I'm saying. You just want to listen to me. Yeah, I'm eating chicken nuggets by the way and fries. I ate earlier Burger King, but I got hungry again on some fatback shit. Um, so yeah, I might here and there you're gonna hear some smacking. I'm sorry in advance, but niggas just hungry. Uh, my dog is looking at me like I'm gonna give her one. I only got three left, and I'm hungry. You can get half. You just ate. So fucking greedy. All right, no more. All right, so without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about the expansion first. Just real quick, the ending with the BSA coming in and shit like that. Um, I'm just gonna start off and say I thought he would come in like actually have a presence in the game. I was kind of shocked by that. I'm not upset. I like the whole cohesiveness of focusing on just Leon and I was gonna say Jill, Leon and Grace for the game. But yeah, I was super shocked. But it was cool to just hear him and just see the BSA knowing that they have a presence. So I think that they're definitely alluding to like a not a hero 2 slash I think like a precursor, excuse me. This is the expansion I'm talking about to um what the next Resident Evil game is gonna be like, story wise, you know. This is just based off of the ending, where and like the final shot of like the BSA and you know when they went in and no, excuse me, I'll reverse it. When Umbrella came in and cleared out the rest of the BSA soldiers and shit that was killed, and they took it, so they're still kicking around. So that leads me to believe, okay, so who's behind this shit? Is it a Wesker's double? Maybe this is the real Wesker leading these people, Um, so we have to think, like, we seen him, this nigga, what they call him, not Nero, something, like some code name for like some project shit, you know what I mean? Get decapitated by Victor. So we up out of here, unless this nigga, he don't have powers, like we literally seen it. So I take that, that's not the real Wesker. Um, so he might be still kicking around looting his people, but I think we might see like a whole again going back to that one sequence to where the BSA first got like that second half of the game when you play as Leon when you enter Raccoon City before you got into the RPD building. Like that whole sequence, right? When you get to that hotel shit, when the BSA got slaughtered by Rescue, we might see play as the team, or maybe, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, maybe like a random. I take it we're gonna play as Chris, but if not, maybe like his one of the Wolves team, right? Like the leading alpha team that goes in, that carries out the missions and shit. We might play as them, but I think we're gonna see that we're gonna actually play that, you know what I mean, leading up to them entering Raccoon City. But they're just like on opposite sides of the fucking map and shit, at the time. Looking for this whatever the fuck they're supposed to be looking for and shit. This base, right? That's on the ground. The umbrella place. Okay, so yeah, that's that with the expansion. We're gonna have to just wait and see. I take it it's gonna be huge. I'm saying expansion in contrast to like DLC, like even though it was on paper, like it was an expansion, not a Hero 1, but it was kind of like some seasonal shit. You know, if you pre-ordered the game, and don't quote me on, but I'm think that's how it went. Then they also had the Zoe shit with the Baker, the dad. You know what I'm saying? When you get to like, you was just all hands, just beating up niggas and shit. I never played it, but I seen it. I never played Biohazard 1. I wish I regret not doing it. I played the demo, thought it was cool, but like I spoiled it for myself, so I'm like, all right, like what's the use? I have it, but like the one that I played all the way through was Village. You know what I'm saying? I like that game actually more than Requiem, believe to be honest with you. But that's a whole, I digress. That's a whole nother topic and shit. I might get back to that. You know, if I when I go on a tangent, I'll throw that in there and where I rank, you know, the modern Resident Evil games. But yeah, I think I don't want to use it loosely when I say expansion. I really think this is going to be like really big to where, again, like a precursor to like what we're going to be seeing. You know, we're not a hero. They were just experimenting. You know what I mean? But the DLC, their first was getting their feet wet. We're trying to like figure shit out. You know, it was the first time you play as first person. I don't remember how it felt gameplay wise, but I can imagine, you know, in compare, you know, when I played Village, it was cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was really good, really solid, really tight gameplay. Like, it felt like a first person shooter and shit. It had its little quirks. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a little inferior, but like, it wasn't like Call of Duty or anything like that. But it worked, you know? So I take it that this one is gonna be like, holy shit, like an actual, like, you know, first person shooter. Really, I think it's safe to say very action paced, you know what I'm saying, packed. Excuse me, damn. Checking out, oh my god, I'm like savoring it. That last one, the juices was popping and shit, balls, but yeah, oh my god. Yeah, but we're just gonna have to wait and see. But that's my prediction. You know, I don't think it's a pie in the sky idea that we might get that, being that it was really popular. You know what I'm saying? The Not a Hero shit. Not definitely not as the main game, but like people played it, people liked it. You know, from what I've seen, like journalists and IGN and shit. You know, the Baker store, I haven't really heard that much. I usually hear people talk about Not a Hero more because they're playing as Chris. You know what I'm saying? Of course, it's gonna be popular. Okay, so that's that with the expansion. Now, story-wise, with Requiem, I think, and again, this is just based off of what we've seen with the ending, I think it's safe to say that, you know, just with his quotes, Victor, right? When he was like, oh, like, he's a genius, you know, his Wesker second, like, this weird, bro. This game felt very reminiscent to, like, the Peace Walker in Ground Zero and the Phantom Pain, like with the whole cipher, you know what I'm saying, bending, like who's, you know, misinterpreting the will of, in this case, what their boss would be like, Spencer, you know, but it felt just like that, you know, but more like, less, you know what I'm saying, like convoluted and shit, of course, because Metal Gear is like fucking, you know, it doesn't even need to answer, you know, the fucking doctor degree to fucking understand that game and shit. But yeah, they look like they was doing a lot of that kind of shit. But he said in quotes like, oh, like he's a genius, you know, when he found out, like, when it was revealed that that little, what do you call it, syringe or whatever the fuck, you know what I'm saying, when he stabbed, when she put in the code, right, and then stabbed Leon, it was a reverse engineered, you know what I'm saying, like a cure. You know what I'm saying? And Victor is like, oh man, like it's a genius and da 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 da. Wesker just wanted to be like on some world domination shit. But Victor is still, you know what I mean? Being a shit crazy. Like he's on some like, oh, like the world is going to be in chaos now because everybody's going to rise and, you know what I'm saying, fight against, you know what I'm saying, whatever the fuck he was talking about. Just evil bad guy shit. 007 villain shit, right? So I take it as, you know what I'm saying, looking at that, that's exactly where we're gonna go. Like very like bio weaponry, you know, maybe espionage, kind of like, you know, control of power with Umbrella and the other corporations and the BSA, right? And Umbrella is gonna be fighting to like controlling this weapon. You know what I'm saying? Essentially, you know what I mean? Well, literally. Um, with the reverse engineering. Now, the reverse engineering thing, I think, can go in different certain directions. You know what I'm saying? As well as this, what they call obelisk. I can't even fucking pronounce. I'm not gonna butcher it, but like whatever um the T, like you know what I'm saying, the virus was what they that was in this game, right? Because with them, um, the E virus, it looks like they were very human-like, almost like what's they call it, the cortisol from like The Last of Us, like they were like trapped in their body. So I think Victor and Wesker, they were trying to make like, I never read the notes. I wasn't reading the files or anything like that. I'm just going off of like my top, like and what I think. You know what I'm saying? Like the will or they were trying to do. You know what I'm saying? But it just went to shit. But I think they were trying to make like butlers or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Just like this enhanced version of just humans. You know what I'm saying? That like live forever. I.e. like that scene with Grace and her origin story. But they all went crazy and shit and started attacking in the orphanage, right? You know what I'm saying? I take it that they were trying to do something like that, like just create this like everlasting, like basically like the fountain of life or youth and shit, you know, where people can live forever. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like just a fucked up version of like some New World Order shit. You know what I'm saying? Um, i.e. like a Mad Max or Morton Joe or just, you know what I'm saying? Like their crazy ass version of what the world is supposed to look like. You know what I'm saying? Or Metal Gear. Um, One power, and then later it got. I think that's just Resident Evil, just in general. Like the later as it went on, like you know, at first it was about zombies and shit, just you know, just a haunted mansion, and then it went into like this whole worldwide. You know what I'm saying? Like later, what 4? Even though it felt more grander, but 5 was like, oh shit, like okay, like there's some like bioterrorism shit. You know what I'm saying? Even though they all are. Um, but the original RE just felt like a lab experiment that went wrong. But I think they're gonna use this shit like the next one. I don't remember if that had that much knowledge in the movie. From what I remember, like Afterlife, right? The last Resident Evil movie I seen, like some of them were like conscious, kind of. You know what I'm saying? Like they were like doing crazy shit. Like I think they had like collars on them and shit. I'm probably just totally. I don't know where I'm pulling that from. It was either that or Doomsday. I'm probably like, I don't remember that movie. It was cool from what I do. You know what I'm saying? Like the tone with the Mad Max style and shit. Like you know what I'm saying? The world that was in, I thought it was ill. But I digress. I think they're gonna do something like that where some of the zombies and shit, like they're gonna be used as it's a harsh word, but slaves, kind of, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, and then some people they're gonna be used as like this genetic, you feel me? Like, I mean not genetic, basically like the whole purpose is to like to serve and protect or whatever. Like, send these people into battle instead of, you know what I'm saying? Like they're gonna use it as like these super weapons, superhuman shit. You know what I'm saying? To where it can like fight wars for us and shit. So the whole game, I think that's what it's gonna be. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like this fight for control with like this weapon, and who's gonna seize the power first? You know, because in the wrong hands, it can turn into like we can invade a fucking country with this shit. You know what I mean? And we don't even have to send any of our men. And some of them, evil, you know what I'm saying, whatever, uprising, like they just want to fucking see the world burn on some, you know what I'm saying, some Heath Ledger Joker shit. So I think it's pretty safe to say, you know what I mean, I don't think it's that much too much of a pie in the sky ideas. Again, we have to see, of course, when it comes out, well, the first trip, which I think is probably going to be a couple years away, maybe like a mid-gen game, or maybe sooner than that, who knows. Definitely not this gen. Oh, the hell no. And when I say this gen, I mean like, you know, like PS6, I mean, that's not just gen, but like, early, I don't think it's gonna be early next gen, as I should say. Let me rephrase that. Maybe like a mid generation, but I think that's where it's gonna go. You know, I don't want to dwell that much into it, being that like I can't. You know what I mean? We can only, again, this is coming from somebody who I was just skimming through them notes and shit. Like I'm just looking at the story for what it is, the safe-contained shit, the self-contained shit. Um, but I think that's what they're gonna do. Okay, now gameplay, tonally, I think, again, going back like to that Not a Hero, where I think Not a Hero 2, the expansion, is gonna be like um definitely more action packed, you know what I'm saying, with the next RE game. I think they're gonna do, you know what I'm saying, with the same build off the foundation of Requiem with the uh I don't want to say non-linear, but like I think this game is actually going to be non-linear. Actually, I'm gonna get back to that. I'm glad I said that so I can remember to, you know, build on that. But I think, what the fuck am I trying to say? Requiem, the base off of the foundation of that game, right? They're gonna do something like that with the scenarios where they split it up. You know what I'm saying? At A, you know how they did in remake, and in 3 where there's like, no, 3 was not scenarios. It was only 2. Even though you got to play as Carlos in the remake. But I think that was like a mock test, like, you know what I mean? Remake part 2 and 3, you know what I'm saying? Having like multiple characters and shit, you know what I'm saying? Playable characters, um, which nobody, from what I seen, like nobody knew about until you actually got to that point. Like it wasn't advertised, it was just gonna be Jill's story, you know what I'm saying? Like the original games. Don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's just like the original, like Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. It's just Jill. We already know that there was A and B, and that's why it's like one of the most regarded horror games of all time, and rightfully so. Resident Evil 2, like it had that multiple shit, you know what I'm saying? But they refined it in 2 and then added shit to it too. You know what I mean? Translated later, which I thought was fucking dope with the cutscenes and RE2. I mean RE Requiem, but yeah, it looks like they're trying to build on that, you know what I mean? And this one, I think they're really trying to, you know what I'm saying? They did it pretty successfully, you know, if I do say so myself. Um, with the cutscenes and shit, like it was very well directed. And gameplay wise, some people, I was watching a little bit of Under the Mail, that YouTube content creator, and why like his verdict was like he thinks it's good and bad at the same time. And I can definitely see, like, I haven't watched the whole thing, but from what I did hear, and he has a good point, you know what I'm saying, of like how jarring it does feel. I'm all over the place, but I'm gonna land the plane. Cause tonally, like it definitely, now while I don't think it's like all over the place, you know what I'm saying, like it definitely feels, you know what I mean, like cohesive. And I think they do a pretty good job with that for the most part. I can definitely see why it can be jarring to some people. Um, like I feel like like that horror, you know what I'm saying, like the Lisa Trevor 2.0 shit when you're getting chased in that house or their apartment, right? And then the hospital scene, like that was just straight fucking nightmare haunted house horror shit, like Resident Evil 7 shit, right? And then after that, it just like it just drops, you know what I'm saying? Like they just dropped the whole horror shit and it just went full like action. And then that took full force, which me, I didn't mind, being that I'm a Resident Evil 4 fan and 5. You know what I'm saying? I don't really mind the action base, you know, um, and a change of pace, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I can definitely see how people like probably would think this jarring, or why they, you know what I'm saying, might be a con for some people. You know, maybe some people, I can see why people really like that. I don't know why I went with that, why I just went on that tangent, but it's whatever. You know what I'm saying? What's said has been said. Now I lost train of thought though, so I'm damn. That sucks. Oh yeah, going back to what I said. Oh, tonally. All right, we were talking about tonally and what I think the gameplay is gonna look like. And play like, yeah, the scenarios, but instead of just 2, like I think there's gonna be like 3 where you play as Leon. I think Chris might hire this nigga for the BSA, or you know what I mean? He might be like some rogue agent, but I think he needs his help. Um, Well, like taking down the rest of these motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying? And then shit's gonna like this has to be a new rise of power, like some adversity. So there's got to be a, you know what I'm saying? Chris has to know something. That's why we haven't seen this nigga. You know, like this nigga Wesker. Holy shit, I'm thinking about this shit in real time, man. Like, what if this nigga really is alive though, Wesker? Because from what I'm not, like, the whole time I'm playing this game, bro, I'm like, bro, like this nigga is not in sight. And like that's his biggest op. I would think that this nigga would want, you know what I mean? Like he'll come in and try to save the day. But now it's crazy, man. Like I'm glad when you talk it out loud, it's like you kind of put things together. Um, that might even be the real him. You know what I'm saying? That might have not very much been. And who knows? People probably was already hip to this shit. This is just my thesis. You know what I mean? I think people like. I want to make it seem like, oh, I figured it out. I cracked the code. You know what I'm saying? The Da Vinci Code and shit. You know? Like, I'm probably not really saying nothing. But with me, like, I'm excited. Because now I'm like, holy shit. Because me, like, I wanted to know. I felt like, for what it was, like, again, even though it wasn't as, I feel like Village was better. I was so engaged, like, by the end of the game. And when they did the whole BSA shit, like, holy shit. Like, now shit about to get real. Like, what the fuck? And then the credits roll up. You know? It leaves you wanting more. But I think Chris is just doing his own, like he's hunting this nigga down, you know, like on some Cypher versus Diamond Dog shit. Uh, but yeah, the scenarios. I think we might see. Speaking. Okay, I'm glad I actually did brought up the Under the Mayo vid. Definitely check him out. I'll take it if you clicked on my shit. You definitely know who the fuck that nigga is. You know what I'm saying? Being that this nigga has like over, you know what I'm saying? I don't know his subscriber count, but you know, it's substantially way more than mine. You know what I'm saying? I'm not downplaying my shit. I'm just saying like, come on, you know, like, compared to him in comparison, like, you know what I mean? But yeah, listening to that, I mean, I'm glad I said that because with the some people thinking that I might be drawn or that, or if not. And if not, you know what I'm saying? Like, or how do you say it? And I don't fucking know. If you thought it was either you thought it was jarring, you thought it was a con that they kind of dropped the hard shit off, or the latter. You know what I mean? And I'm kind of impartial to it. You know, again, being that I don't mind the action shit, I thought it was great. But I think they might do something with that where Grace, you know what I'm saying? I think it's safe to say that she's gonna be returning. She had adopted, what they call her, Cheryl, which is fucking super reminiscent. I think she like renamed her, or Emily, excuse me. That's some Silent Hill shit. Yeah, she adopted her, which is cool because like she was adopted. Like I like the whole full circle thing. I take it some shit's gonna go crazy with that. You know, say maybe Umbrella's gonna try to like offer silence her or some shit. You know, being that she knows way too fucking much and shit. Or just, you know what I mean, just to get their lit back, or maybe possibly kidnap her or Emily or something. And then they're gonna be set like she's gonna have her own shit story. That's gonna be, I think, they're gonna keep the horror shit. You know what I mean? Being that she's like a fucking, you know what I mean? Like basically like Ethan Winters, a human and shit, kind of, quote unquote, right? You know what I'm saying? Ethan Winters less so. But the Chris and Leon shit, I think that's gonna be where, you know what I mean? That's where all the action shit is gonna be. You know what I mean? Like maybe Chris might be first person. I mean, they did the thing where you can play. I like that with Requiem. And that I didn't know, where you get to play it in either in third perspective or first person. You know, I don't think that's gonna change at all. Even though I don't get how people could play it in third person. Grace is, you know what I mean? I just think that just defeats the. You know, maybe a lot of people, to their credit, I'm not dissing them, but like, this just me preference. Like horror games are just holy shit. Like it's not, you know what I mean? Like first person mode is just like, that's where you will have to play it. Especially Requiem, you know, with Grace's segments. And it even has that optional thing to where that, you know, like, hey, it's not a requirement, but we highly recommend you do it in first person, and it really works. But I digress from that. I don't think that's gonna change. Uh, but I definitely think that there's gonna be like this balance now, where I think I mentioned something earlier on how I think this game is gonna be more non-linear. You know what I'm saying? And based off the foundations of Requiem with the multiple choice thing with the endings. So I want to know. I said this on my stream before. How many fucking people chose to destroy the E virus first and was completely like, what the fuck? Like, I'm like, bro, what is this endgame Infinity War shit? Like, when you just fucking see, you know what I mean? Get his fucking his brains blown the fuck out, and then the credits roll. I'm like, there's no way. You feel me? Sat there, I swear to God, man, sat there just speechless the whole time. Like, bro, like, there's no fucking way. Like, it felt like a joke ending, dog. Like a bad ending in a game. Like, I did something that I was, you know what I'm saying? When you play a Silent Hill game, and you do the wrong thing, and then you get the fucked up ending. Like, Henry, what's his name? Townsend from Silent Hill 4, ends up dying and shit because he didn't fucking, exercise these whatever the fuck how many demons in your apartment and shit, right? But yeah, that I was like taken aback from that. Of course, you know what I'm saying, if you did play it, you 100%. I don't think anybody didn't choose the second one. You know what I'm saying, after seeing that shit. But yeah, that was the first option I took, because I'm like, yeah, let's destroy this shit, rid this out of the world, let's end this once and for all. The E virus. And then I found out, like, oh shit, like, when you see that, like, this is their actual canon ending, like, that ending is not even, you know what I mean? I don't think that's just existence. And while it was cool, I guess, like, I always think it's cool to have, like, them kind of different end, whether it's canon or not, just for the sake of purpose of, like, diversity. I still kind of made me, like, when I really sat and let it marinate, it made me scratch my head, like, what the fuck? Like, why did they even put that in the game, though? You know what I'm saying? If it's not canon, so it kind of, I'm using that as a segue. So I think that that was kind of like a mock test to a precursor. I'm gonna keep using that word, like, for their next game, to go in a more non-linear way. I think you might tackle get like with the scenario shit with Resident Evil. With Resident Evil 2 remake, or the original Resident Evil, you can play as any. At least I think that household wasn't a original Resident Evil. Don't quote me on it. I think maybe you have to play as Leon and then later Jill. But in 2, you can play either one from the Jill or Leon. I think they might do something with that, to where you're gonna do that again, but they're gonna have decisions to make. You know what I mean? Like, whether you're working with this person, or, you know what I mean? Like, you have to make some tough choices in how the world goes and shit. There was a game. I don't know who the fuck this game. Unless you live in a rock, but your childhood just wasn't lit. Infamous. Yeah, I feel like that was some like, that shit is disrespectful to this whole legacy. That this game, fucking Infamous, right? Like, who don't know what that shit is? If you're a gamer, Infamous 2. In particular, like, they had this thing, right? I remember Sony, or Insomniac, I should say, and Sony, like, after the game was done and people played it and shit, I'm almost 100% sure this happened. You know what I'm saying? But don't quote me. I don't know where, if there was an article, but they actually tallied. That game is like, just to give you, if you haven't played the game, or you may have seen it, or just to give you the gist of it, right? You can play the game in multiple ways, 2 ways in particular. Like, there's no neutral. It's either you're good or bad. You know what I'm saying? Like some Red Dead shit. Mine is, you know what I mean? Like how it ends. Well, it's Red Dead 2, where you get totally different endings if you play a certain way. But 2, they're really like, the contrast is like, you know what I mean? Like, super different. Onto where, you know what I mean, it goes. Like, spoilers for the people who haven't played that game. Well, this is a spoiler shit anyway, so I don't even know why the fuck you're here, I'm even giving out that warning. But Cole McGrath dies. If you do the good ending, And if you do the evil karma one, he's a lot like he turns into the beast. You know what I'm saying? The evil, the new super, you know what I mean, mutant shit. Uh, Conduit, whatever the fuck he is. But Sony and Insomniac, I remember there was like an article or something like with the devs talking about like how they actually tallied the trophy data on how many people chose which ending over the other one. And I'm from what I remember, I honestly don't remember. I think people chose the good karma ending most in particular. Or I could be wrong. Maybe it was the evil one, but I'm pretty sure it was almost 90% sure the good one. Um, uh, I thought that was cool. You know what I'm saying? At that time, this is before Infamous Second Son, so I'm like, holy shit! Like, um, we're gonna see he's gonna have a presence in some way. Um, Even though he might be, you know what I'm saying, he's dead and shit. And actually, I do remember it was the good ending that people chose, but me, I was upset because I felt like the evil ending was way more intriguing in some way, like being like kind of like some prototype shit to where like when Alex Mercer and I forget the dude's name, just the angry black bald headed dude from Prototype 2, like they were like at odds at each other and shit like that. That game was awesome. That's cool that that game is might come. I have a video talking about that with like Radical Games and what I think they might go with that shit. You know what I'm saying? But I digress. But yeah, with that, I think maybe now that I'm just on some pie in the sky idea shit. If they were to do the non-linear shit, I think it would be kind of similar to like uh, Infamous 2. You know what I mean? To where it's like really like split to where it's like this really changes, you know what I mean? The outcome of where direction this game goes. You know what I'm saying? Um Me, I'm impartial. I'm up for it if it's, you know what I mean? On paper it sounds cool, but like I'm more of a narrative dude, you know what I'm saying? It's just like write a good story and give it to us like the product and shit. But if done right, I'm for it. But I think, you know, those games are only those kind of choices are only, I think you can pull that off successfully with RPGs. You know what I'm saying? Where you can have multiple endings and shit. Um, I don't even think Bethesda even does stuff like that. From what I've seen, like I think with Fallout 3, you can, you know what I'm saying? It was very like you just get a cutscene. You know what I'm saying? While that game is great, I'm not dissing it, but that's how those games are. It's like you still play the game. Like you can be evil or bad, but you do make decisions, but the end result is just a fucking cutscene and shit. In contrast to like um what I mentioned with Infamous 2, even though they went out and just said probably was like fuck all that, you know what I'm saying? Just made a new script and made Delson Rowe a new hero and shit, and they barely even talked about, you know what I'm saying, Cole McGrath. Wow, that game is great, you know what I'm saying, for what it still stands the test of time. I feel like was one of the best. Insomniac is just great altogether. You know what I'm saying? Been killing it all this last gen with the PS4, this gen. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't even like they get all their, you know what I mean? But I think that was like, if I had to critique them, that was like the biggest mulligan to me. I think for a lot of people, it's like holy shit, like no Cole, no Graph. You know, I think it would have been much cooler if we even would have seen him like just, you know, I would have liked the bad ending of Cole McGrath, but he's dead still. You know what I mean? For what I remember, you know what I'm saying? And they just talk about him and just never talk about him. They just once, and then they don't ever mention him again, which I thought was weird, as well as other people are fans of that game. Just went on a just infamous tangent just now, but yeah, back to Resident Evil 10 or whatever the fuck they're gonna call it. I think it will be dope if done right. If they do some shit like that, the non-linear shit. Yeah, here's hoping here, and we just have to sit there and wait and see where it goes. I'm for it. I could be totally wrong about all this shit. You know, it's just predictions on where I think it might go. You know, any closing thoughts for myself? Okay, yeah. So where I think More like, you know what I'm saying, a review, I guess you could say, slash closing thoughts. I still think, like, in comparison to like the modern ones, like the Seven and Village and Requiem, I think Village is still the best out of all of them. Maybe I'm just biased because I'm a Resident Evil 4 junkie. Like, that was my first Resident Evil 4. I spent the most time with it. It was my first introduction into the series, in, on the original hardware, like with the when it was an exclusive on GameCube. Had it when it first, you know what I mean? My mom picked it up. I didn't even know what the fuck it was. You know what I'm saying? I heard of Resident Evil. I think I told this story on Wax many a times. You know what I'm saying? Just playing other games and shit, or I think on a video when I played it was when before Requiem came out. I had another prediction on where I thought this story would go and shit. But yeah, I mentioned it during that. You know what I'm saying? Just like my whole history with Resident Evil 2 or Resident Evil when I was like 1998. I'm a fucking 3-year-old and looking at it, turning the pages. You know what I'm saying? I'm just looking because I'm indoctrinated in video games and shit at the time. Like, and seeing Resident Evil 2 and the poster and being like, what the fuck? Like, I didn't say that, but I'm like, holy shit. I told this story many times. That's why I'm kind of like speeding it up. But I knew what it was, but Resident Evil 4 was like my real first like proper introduction to this shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, holy shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, what a game to like that, for that to be for your first Resident Evil game. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't even need an introduction. It's fucking Resident Evil 4. Um, but yeah, I think that's like, I have this biasness because Village just really hit everything for me. You know what I'm saying? With that tonally, um, the scariest, no. You know what I'm saying? Either, I don't think it's the scariest, but just fun factor wise and the side missions and the environments and the characters. That was a crazy ass voice crack. Um, the characters with Heisenberg, like the Lady Demetrice, like it's just the whole setup and the tone. I just think was just so much fucking better than this. Now, don't get me wrong. I think the first half of the game, RE9, like they're really good with that shit. You know, they have a track record. They're building a track record now, just making so like they're like the fucking Naughty Dog of horror games. I'm not even gonna lie to you, like with the set pieces and the, you know, you're like the holy shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to escape. They did it with the Baker shit. They did it with the Village, with the whole castle. Even before you even got to the castle, you know what I mean? Like with the whole wolves and shit like that when they chasing you, um and then you get to the castle and then you're getting introduced to the Lady Demetrice, like, like that shit felt, it was fucking epic as fuck. And then the game later opens up and then you can tackle it. They got the you know what I'm saying? It's basically Resident Evil 2.0, Resident Evil 4 2.0, excuse me. But again, that's just my biasness, you know what I mean? Completely, I'm gonna be real, but just tonally and just everything, like if I were to compare it, like I just think it's just better, you know what I'm saying? It has much more. Who knows? Like Requiem, I hope, like when I was playing it on stream, man, I'm like, the whole time I'm playing it, I'm like, bro, like this fucking mercenary mode is about to be crazy. And you know, like, while I wasn't bummed out knowing that there wasn't one, because I take it like that's gonna be, if they're not doing it, if it wasn't released from the jump like how Village was, then this shit is gonna, I'm pretty sure, yeah, it was for the jump, right? You had to beat the game. It was like some end game shit. Like, you had to beat the story to unlock mercenary mode. But I tell you, this is gonna be like a whole new experience. You feel me? On top of the expansions. You feel me? So we might be hearing some shit from that in like the upcoming maybe weeks. You know what I mean? They're gonna have to do it before GTA 6. So maybe summer, maybe, there's still some time. You know? Maybe before fall. But yeah, that mercenary mode, I'm just like, holy shit, like, his gameplay is cool as fuck. Like, them Leon segments, I'm like, I just want to just pop some shit. You know what I'm saying? Use my hatchet. And I just felt like by the time, when you really, really get into the game, like, you spend a lot of time with like the whole later half with Leon, but it just didn't feel like it was much shit to do after that. You know what I'm saying? And content wise, so that's why story, full front, you know what I'm saying? It just like that was the face of it, you know what I mean? For RE Requiem, like, let's go with that. I was about to say full frontal nudity for a second, but I was like, yeah, we're not on there. as an analogy and shit. But I think y'all would have got what I was saying anyway, or not. Um, but yeah, that's where I put it. You know what I'm saying? Like Resident Evil Village is still up there. Um, but yeah, fingers crossed. Hopefully we hear some shit from them soon, man. Cause I think what they got, just gameplay wise, like this felt so good. You know what I mean? I think it has the potential to be more fun than the horde mode in The Last of Us. I feel like, you know, just with that hatchet shit alone, like you can do some cool shit. And maybe they can give us some more. You know, like I don't want to just, even though I would have been satisfied with just going redoing the same environments, you know, again, like I'm just building off of what that we played with the whole sequence when you had the mortars. I'm like, holy shit, man, like this would be cool as fuck. I can't wait to the end game, man. Hopefully, or the next, you know what I'm saying, whenever they do it, cause I wanna do that shit. You feel me? Like you know how cool Resident Evil 5 and 4's mercenary game was. Like that's what I want from Requiem. You know what I'm saying? Like this fucking balls to the wall action. You know. Um. But yeah. What else? I think that's pretty much it. Um. But yeah, man, super. I feel like this. I feel kind of an empty void a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. After I beat, like, anybody feel like that? I think people. I can speak. It's safe to say. Safe to say I can speak for everybody with that. Like when you play a game, you really enjoy it and shit. It's like, damn. You know what I'm saying? What I'm gonna do with my life after it? And it's like, even though life obviously goes, that's a very black and white way how to look at it. But it's like, nah, man. It's like once the experience is over, it's like, damn, bro. Like, what is this? This is why I have this shit in the background. As you know, I have it for B-roll for one, but two, like I'm about to stream this shit because I actually really like it. But I need that. I need to fill that void now because it's like everything else from what I've seen, like Crimson Desert. Or this might be a good segue to talk about, you know, for the people who stayed. Um, on what games I'm looking forward to. Even though I mention this, you know what I'm saying, once every other fucking stream, I feel like just yapping and what's, you know, what looks cool and shit that I might play. Honestly, I don't think there's really that much outside of like Soros. You know, Crimson Desert looks cool for what it is, you know what I'm saying? But it just doesn't not I'm trying to find a reason to why to trying to find a reason to purchase it. And there's just something I just can't, you know what I mean? Like there's not I'm trying like I feel like I'm at the point where it's like I'm actually kind of forcing myself. Like I'm looking at, excuse me, the Fighting Cowboy Matty plays, and I'm from what I've heard, I'm like, okay, like this is something I might keep on my radar. But now, like knowing me and shit, or if you ever looked at one of my other videos, like I don't like spoilers and shit, and it feels like now, like the more and more I look at it, it's the more I see of it. It's like now I don't even want to play it because it's like this is something I want to get onto blind if I were to be even remotely interested in that. I was always on the fence before, but from what I've heard, like, cause it sounds so good, you know what I mean? From what I heard, it's like in his words verbatim, like the Fighting Cowboy, as well as like Matty plays and shit, like Matty. um, damn, my stuttering problem is crazy. Um, it's like a fucking fever dream, you know? So, and they said that in verbatim, so, you know, they're saying all the right things and shit from their impressions, but I like how they're still, you know, they're keeping it a bean, saying how they're optimistically skeptical. You know what I mean? I think that's a very honest approach to it, to where it's like, you know, like I think especially for the Fighting Cowboys, you know, like because he plays everything, you know what I mean? And he's good at them, like the Neos and shit. It's like, damn, like he just went from that to Monster Hunter to fucking, I don't watch him. I just like the dude, you know what I'm saying, his content and shit. I think he's like one of the best, like next to the Rad Brads and shit. And you know, like he actually plays the game, you know what I'm saying, gives us good detail oriented videos. Like he's so fucking good. Like just, you know, like that's the go-to in Matty play. That's no shade to anybody. Like they're all great, but like just me personally, I just think, like, you know, he's just a dude, and you know what I mean, like he has the B-roll in the back. Like I just, it's very easy to digest, you know what I'm saying? And that's no, again, no shade to all the other ones. Like I like them for their own reasons with the style of content, but his is just like, you know, perfect for me, you know what I mean? Because it's super digestible, and he's just talking, you know, with some B-roll in the back. um but yeah, uh, the more I see, the more I ponder on it, I don't think it's I'm gonna play that shit. Like there's gotta have to be a deep sale. I felt the same with Marathon, man, and then they did that live service thing, and I'm glad they did it. Shout out to them too, Bungie and PlayStation, man. Like doing that as well as extending the 14-day trial. I was unaware it ends tomorrow this week. Like if you're a PlayStation Premium member, you get they had a fucking 14-day trial, and I'm like, holy shit! Like if I would have known, I would have kept it installed and gave it a try. Cause from it, why I think it's not a game for me. Well, I know I don't think like it's just not a game for me. I definitely get the appeal of it, and I think there's a lot there for you know what I'm saying, for it to have like some legs to stand on. Um, I think the game is kind of boring, you know, just to, you know what I mean, just to be real. That's not, it don't really, I'm like, all right, like, where the action at? But again, that's just my style of like, it's my preference with games, you know. Some people might be, oh, you're just, I don't know, the fucking, you know how people are, brain dead. They'll call you all types of shit if you disagree with them or don't have a different opinion than them. Um, but yeah, to their credit, I think tonally and aesthetic wise and gameplay, like the game is solid. The shooting, there's a lot of cool shit in there. It's just not enough for me to keep my attention. I want a PvP mode or a you know what I mean, something to where it's like I feel like I'm forced to fight more actual play. I feel like I was fighting AI more than you know what I'm saying. I would have just hopped on Destiny. If that, you know what I mean? I kind of, if this is the distraction shooter, I felt like, I'm like, I'm thinking about like this might be a bad take. This is definitely probably gonna get me this, even though I don't give a fuck. Like a DMZ with Call of Duty, you know what I'm saying? Even though tonally two different things, um, and there's no AI in this shit, but I thought it would be a little more like that, like a Arc Raiders. I don't know why the fuck I blinked out of that shit. I thought it would be something like a Arc Raiders. I feel like from the time that I did spend with that game, which was probably like a little under like 3 hours, if not. I played like a good solid game. For what I played, I was enough for me to be like, I definitely get the appeal. And for the clips I've seen, it looks dope. You know what I'm saying? And really funny and shit. There's not enough of that for me in you know what I mean, in a marathon. Hey, first person shooter, third person, night and day. You know what I'm saying? The only thing similarity is that it's a distraction shooter, the comparison. But to their credit, again, I love the fact that they, and that's probably was a PR, nah, just a strategic move to get people to play the game and boost the player count too. If you know what I'm saying, two things can coexist, two truths can be the same, to where that's what they were trying to do to get it people in hand, just to see if to make people buy it, because it's not a free to play game, even though it's a live service game. But that 14-day trial, man, like that's ill. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, yeah, shout out to them. Not for me though. Yeah, so that Crimson Desert, you know what I'm saying? Even though I haven't played it, but what I've seen, I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. Now Soros, I might, I might definitely, you know what I'm saying, want to sink my teeth into that, being that I'm like a House Mark fan. You know what I'm saying? I fucking love. I had that on my back catalog for the longest, but I played it not recently, but pretty recently, you know what I'm saying? Within this year, like a couple months ago, maybe like 5, 6 months ago, I played Doom Returnal, Returnal, and I was blown away by it. You know what I'm saying? Gameplay, the convoluted story and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like it made me want to like really just explore. But Sorrows just looks fucking like something a game made for me. It has a Hindu mythos shit with it, you know what I'm saying? Like it looks dope, man. The designs, the colors, the black and golds. I'm like, yeah, and then the linear character with the I don't know his real name. I don't know the characters the guy, the actor that plays him. I know his face, you know what I'm saying? I seen him on Funhouse. I know he's like an actor and stuff too. But I just know him for being like the funny guy and shit on Funhouse and shit when he'll pop in. Indian Australian dude. Um but yeah, it looks dope. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to him, man. Like it looks like his performance is pretty dope too. Like it's like more emotional and has some weight to it and shit. You know what I'm saying? But that game, I can definitely see myself getting. You know what I'm saying? It just looks fun as shit. You know what I mean? We don't get. I mean, I think that's so like harsh because there's so many a lot of good fun games out there. I.e. this one, even though this is my back catalog, but like again, like you just have to look, or go on Game Pass or some shit. There's definitely good fun games. I was about to say something and that was been a bad take, but I was gonna say there's only a couple games like that that comes once in a blue moon, but stylistically, you know what I'm saying? Just to build on that or rephrase that, like just stylistically, gameplay wise, like everything just hit, and then you got a story, like I think that's like a no brainer for me. But I'm gonna sit back and wait on that too. Um, but I'm kind of leaning more into that. Just what I'm saying, and then that will be the last. I'm good up until GTA. So, well, excuse me. Before that, Wolverine, and then GTA 6. Like that's what I'm trying to find. I'm trying to fill that void now. Fill that void after Requiem. That was like one of my most anticipated games, and now that it's gone, you're done with it. It's like okay, on to the next. Well, I'm gonna play the shit out of the mercenary mode. Um, I want to play. I want to play something like a triple A. You know what I mean? Like Soros looks like the perfect balance between like triple A and double A. You know what I'm saying? Even though in this day and age, what is a double A? What is what I'm saying? Game like those games are they blow the triple A games out of the water. But this, you know what I mean? And more so than not, more so than ever. But with Housemark, they're like their quality. You know what I mean? They have a reputation. Like their catalog is built on like the discography is is nothing but like what I'm saying, bangers. You know what I mean? They only put out good shit. Like the Rezogons, the Super Stardusts, that was them, right? Yeah. Alienation, I think. Don't quote me. I think they did that. Um. So yeah, Soros is gonna be. I think that's a no-brainer. On where that's gonna hit with game, but that preference. That's just totally what I'm saying, preference. I feel like, I think Returnal kind of like while people definitely played it, you know what I'm saying? I remember Max admit like he praised that game a lot. So I know he's super excited for Soros. I haven't really heard his opinion, him talk about it, but I'm pretty sure he's gonna play the shit out of that game. Um, but I think, don't quote me, that game kind of got overshadowed by Ratchet and Clank. You know what I'm saying? While they didn't come out around the same time, from what my recollection and memory, uh, just in sale, just being a system seller and shit, like it moved units, you know what I'm saying, Returnal, but like just, and it was a first party exclusive and shit, but like just for the accessibility and you know what I mean, like it was like a showcase to see what the PlayStation can do, 5, but in comparison to Ratchet and Clank, like I don't think that it was like, it wasn't nowhere near that shit. And then whatever else came out, like everything else came out later, you know what I'm saying, the God of War Ragnaroks, the Horizon Forbidden West and shit, but Return Okada was just like, yeah, it came and it went. Even though it still had like, Housemarque could do that. They can put out some shit and they have that the people that like them, they gonna rock with them. You know what I'm saying? So that's cool. Kind of like a IE, what's the like Compulsion Games or the people that did the Tim Burton's team and shit. The people that did the Keeper and the Psychonauts and shit. There's a couple, the Silk Song, Hollow Knight. Like there's certain studios where they can just put out some shit and then you know people are gonna fuck with them regardless, and it's gonna move numbers and it's gonna, you know what I mean? Because PlayStation, they just care about the while they do care about money, but their second most uh if not first is the Metacritic score. You know what I'm saying? They want that shit to be perfect. Um or close, damn near close to it. So yeah, Hearthmark, they always hit that. Um, but yeah, I'm dragging this at this point on. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking forward to. They're really not that much actually. You know what I'm saying? Up until Wolverine and GTA. While it's this year, they're so like a ways away from that. You know what I'm saying? Right now it's crazy, and then one day I'm gonna blink my eyes, and then it's gonna be fucking September, August. You know what I'm saying? And then later September. Um, but until then, I think there's just gonna be, I'm gonna be on my back catalog, maybe playing some Blackout here and there and shit, and then whenever the next DLC comes out, Me, I'm not a huge. I have to be. It has to be a reason for me to play it. You know. Um, Still waiting on that Doom, the Dark Ages. I've been hearing things about that, little rumblings. I think Games Radar, from what I've seen, I was on Xbox Nation. They were talking about how they did an interview. Some of the people from that's why they've been taking so much time. Uh, and who knows after this, now that we know that this Xbox, you know what I mean, rebrand shit, like they're going to go first person, first party, excuse me, like they're reverting back to that, like, oh, we're Xbox and we care about our exclusives and shit. Being that they own them now, the Bethesda is software, we might see some exclusivity time, from what I heard, what I'm saying, maybe I should have elaborated on that more. The reason why they're taking so much time is because it's like a precursor to the next Doom game. Like it's gonna be huge. Like it's gonna be more than expansive. They always kind of did that, um, but I think with this one it's gonna be like that on steroids, from what I hear. Because I remember Doom Eternal. Like I had one of them, but it was like broke it up in different parts and shit. You know. I only played a little bit of the first one, of the first half, and then the set by. There was other games that came out, but from what I seen, it was cool. They had gave you more shit. But I heard, going back to Dune: The Dark Ages, it's like it's gonna be nothing like the game we got before its predecessor. Like it's gonna be like legitimately like damn near a sequel. So that's fucking cool. Um, so yeah, here hopefully we get to see more of that. You know what I mean? Later, hopefully before saying this year ends and before GTA 6. That'll be the perfect time to do it. If not, damn, they probably 2027. Who knows? I hardly doubt that though. That's a little too late. They don't want, I mean, they probably could though. If it's a new game, that like people will buy it. But just to wrap this up, cause it's going on an hour and shit to talk about Doom now. Like, I don't, I don't think that's too far fetched that it might be a timed exclusive. You know what I'm saying? And a Game Pass game just to set the just to you know what I'm saying, get ahead of the curve on this rebrand shit, before the E-Day, before the next Elder Scrolls 6. I think that's the direction they're gonna go in. I think I just covered so much shit, almost some like unintentionally freelance journalist shit, you know what I'm saying? Even though I'm fumbling my words and shit, but yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up because I kind of wanna I want to fill that void. I want to play this game and actually sink my teeth into this. Um, but yeah, y'all gotta stay up and stay blessed. I forgot how to end. Oh yeah, this is a broadcast. I'm not streaming. Okay, y'all gotta stay up and stay blessed. This actually, goodbye.